Poland is located in Central Europe with its coastline on the Baltic Sea. On the 11th of November, Poland celebrates its Independence Day. Poland runs on GMT plus 1 hour. The national currency is the zloty. Polish is the first language of approximately 95% of the population. Poland has a temperate climate with hot summers, colourful autumns, snowbound winters, and flowering springs. Summer visitors can expect temperatures in the mid-20s, but sometimes they can reach higher than 30 degrees Celsius. However, the rainfall is higher during these months. But if you want to come in the winter months, temperatures can drop to as much as minus 20 degrees Celsius, and you might experience cloudy days, bitter winds, and plenty of snowfalls. It takes 2 hours to fly from London to Frederick Chopin International Airport in Warsaw. Warsaw is the capital and the biggest city of Poland and is located in the centre of the country on the river Vistula. It is located 300 kilometres north of Krakow. Warsaw became the capital of the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth in 1596 after it was transferred from Krakow by King Zygmunt III Vasa. Warsaw has many attractions to offer, such as historical buildings, museums, galleries, theatres, opera, parks and gardens, and Old Town, which was placed on UNESCO's World Heritage List in 1980. A good place to start a visit to Warsaw is the Royal Castle. It was the residence of the Polish dukes and kings and the seat of the Parliament of the Republic until 1795. Between 1926 and 1939, the Royal Castle was the Polish president's residence. It was completely destroyed in the Second World War and rebuilt between 1971 and 1988. It contains many sumptuous rooms, halls, cabinets and apartments with paintings, furniture and sculptures. In front of the castle there is the Castle Square, where tourists and locals can gather to watch street entertainers and concerts and even engage in dancing. If you're interested in the Second World War, Warsaw has many sites relating to this period. Umschlagplatz is a monument that stands on the site where 300,000 Jews were transported from the Warsaw Ghetto to their deaths in the Nazi concentration camps. This monument commemorates the deported victims of Soviet aggression after 17th of September 1939. It was unveiled on the 17th of September 1995. Warsaw Uprising Monument, which was unveiled in 1989, was built to commemorate the heroes of the Warsaw Uprising of 1944. The figures depict the insurgents defending the barricades and descending into the sewer system that was used as a relatively safe communication route during the uprising. The Rising Museum is dedicated to Warsaw Uprising of 1944. It contains a collection of guns, photographs, documents, and televised testimonies of survivors of the uprising. You can also watch film footage taken during the uprising. There is a replica of the Little Insurgent, a statue that commemorates the role children played during the Warsaw Uprising, depicting a boy wearing a helmet way too big for him and carrying a submachine gun. 50 kilometers west of Warsaw, in the village of Żelazowa Wola, is the birthplace of Frédéric Chopin, composer and virtuoso pianist who was born here in 1810. The house is surrounded by gardens with a sound system which plays Chopin's music continuously. Chopin grew up in Warsaw, where he completed his musical education and lived until 1830. In 1829 and 1830 he went on tour to Vienna. On his second tour he received news of the November uprising. Chopin was persuaded not to return to Poland, and in 1831 he left Vienna for Paris. There he gave piano lessons and performed in concerts. Throughout most of his life, Chopin suffered from poor health and died in Paris in 1849, probably of tuberculosis or cystic fibrosis. 55 kilometers west of Warsaw is the village of Brochów, with its significant Renaissance fortified church of St. John the Baptist. The church has two distinctive features: 3 towers and a defensive wall surrounding the church. It was built between 1551 and 1561. Between 2008 and 2009, the church was redecorated for the 200th anniversary of Chopin's birth, because in this church Chopin's parents were married in 1806 and he was baptized on the 23rd of April 1810. One of Chopin's last requests was that his heart should be returned to Poland. After his death, his sister fulfilled his wishes. This is the Church of the Holy Cross, where Chopin's heart lies buried. If you enjoy nature, you can take a walk or cycle along the well-marked tracks in Campinos National Park, which stretches approximately 45 kilometers westwards from the outskirts of Warsaw. The park covers 385 square kilometers. It's one of the largest national parks in Poland. You can find similar tracks in the Holy Cross National Park, which is approximately 170 kilometers south of Warsaw, or 150 kilometers northeast of Krakow. It covers 76 square kilometers. If you are interested in folklore, you can visit the town of Łowicz, which is 85 kilometers west of Warsaw, where the museum has a collection of folk artifacts and a mini open-air museum just behind the main building. It includes furniture, little home altars, pottery, paper cutouts, and craft work of paper and wool, and folk costumes. In Małżice, 7 kilometers west of Łowicz, is the Heritage Park, which is an open-air folk museum where you can see tools, barns, granaries, a windmill, a church, and houses which you can enter to see the fully furnished rooms. A similar folk museum is 100 kilometers northeast of Krakow in the village of Tokarnia. In all these places you can see how people lived at the turn of the 19th and 20th centuries. If you're interested in earlier history of Poland and would like to visit lesser known places, 140 kilometres southeast of Warsaw is the small town of Lower Casimir upon Vistula. It is picturesquely perched on the bank of the river with its marketplace surrounded by galleries and historical buildings. You can take a short walk from the marketplace to the Three Crosses Mountain, where you will enjoy a panoramic view of the town. Two and a half kilometres from Casimir, you can take a short walk through the Root Gorge. A 150 kilometres northeast of Krakow is the town of Sandomierz, which is one of the oldest cities in Poland. It is well worth seeing the sloping market square with its town hall, together with the cathedral and the Diocesan Museum. The Diocesan Museum, which is also called Jan Długosz's house, after its founder, who was a renowned 15th century Polish historian and chronicler. The museum exhibits books, religious art, ceramics, tiles from the 16th to the 19th century, and has a unique herbarium, which is a library of wooden boxes that resemble books on the outside but which contain a collection of dried plants. 13 kilometres southeast and 40 kilometres east of Krakow there are two salt mines in the town of Wieliczka and Bochnia. Currently these mines are underground museums where you can see unique excavations, chapels, sculptures and chambers carved from rock salt. In Bochnia you can spend a night underground and play football on the deepest pitch in the world. Both mines were placed on the UNESCO list of World Heritage Sites, Wieliczka in 1978, Bochnia in 2013. Between Warsaw and Krakow you can visit a number of ruined castles. Our journey finishes in Krakow, the second largest city in Poland, which also lies on the banks of the Vistula River. The city dates back to the 7th century. Here in 1364, the first university in Poland was established. This is where the famous astronomer Nicholas Copernicus studied between 1491 and 1495. In Copernicus's day, it was believed that the Earth was stationary and the universe revolved around it. But in his treatise of 1543, he proposed the dangerous new idea that the Earth revolves around the Sun. Some of the most visited places in Krakow are Wawel Castle and the cathedral, which in 2014 celebrated the 650th anniversary of its consecration. 1 kilometre from the castle is the Grand Market Square, where you can visit St Mary's Basilica, with its famous wooden altarpiece of White Stoss, which was carved between 1477 and 1489. Also in the square is the Cloth Hall, the Renaissance monument to commerce, an historic building with market stalls inside. It has been in use since 1300, when a roof was first put over 2 rows of stalls to form the cloth hall, where the textiles were traded. Now it is one of the most recognisable buildings in Poland. All these attractions were placed on UNESCO's World Heritage List in 1978. Around the square there are restaurants where you can listen to live music. Krakow is a good place from which to take a trip to the ski resort of Zakopane, to go rafting on the Dunajec River, or to visit the former Nazi concentration camp at Auschwitz.